In this presentation, we will discuss how we could hire a virtual assistant for our online business. Let's get down to business. Online business. At this point, you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed because we've talked about a lot of different things that we can consider with regards to the online business, including collecting emails and whatnot, the affiliate marketing. We've talked about other different platforms like the Facebooks and the Twitter and the LinkedIn and so on and so forth. And so you might be saying, hey, look, I'm only like one person over here. How would I possibly do all that? I'm not Superman or Superwoman. How would that work? Well, you could try to hire a virtual assistant. That's what we'll talk about now. However, the first thing I just want to point out and consider and remember here is that really you want to get your core system set up. So you're really just focusing on the core system. And honestly, to be successful over a period of time, what you really want to do is not get distracted by all the other things that are going on and just keep on focusing on the core business. And then once it's appropriate to start branching out to these other things, get a feel for them. But again, don't let them pull you off from what it is you're doing. Just keep on pushing forward with the core business. Now, once you do that, and once you start saying, hey, this stuff fits in, I see how this stuff works, I think it's appropriate for me to put these in play. And once you have a good idea of what exactly you're doing, if you're thinking about email marketing or something like that, you don't want to hire someone to help you with that if you don't know what's going on with it. What you're really looking for, or at least from my perspective, what I'm thinking about here, the perspective of hiring someone like a virtual assistant, I'm not talking about, in this case, at least in this scenario, hiring someone that's going to advise you on how to do it. That's a different thing. You could do that. But right now, I'm really talking about hiring a virtual assistant that is going to help you to do something that you already know how to do, that you're going to show them how to do. So in order to do that, you would need to know the process. So you got to say, okay, I've got my core down, and then I started my email marketing, or I started a blog, and now I know how to convert my video files to a blog. I know how to convert my video files to a podcast or something like that. I've got my pages set up for Facebook and whatever. I don't have enough time to manage all of them, but I know how to manage them, and I can train, so I can have someone help me to do so. Once you have that set up, then you can say, okay, now I'm going to think about the virtual assistant. Now, again, that's different than if you were hiring someone to help you with these things. You might want to hire someone to help you, of course, to manage your email list or show you how to do it. And that would be a different type of scenario. You're going to say, hey, could you show me the process? Hire someone to show you the process, learn the process, then possibly go to this step and hire a virtual assistant that you can then train to go through the process. So that's the perspective here. Now, when you think about an assistant, then you're thinking about hiring someone. Just in general terms, if you're going to hire someone, either typically they're going to be an employee, in which case you issue them a W-2, or they're going to be a contractor, in which case you issue them a 1099 typically. Huge difference between these two items, because if they're a W-2 employee, then you're going to be doing payroll withholdings and so on and so forth. It's a bit more complicated to process the paperwork for a W-2 employee. So if you're going online and hiring a virtual assistant, then oftentimes you're kind of looking for a contractor that you're going to basically be paying in the format of a 1099. So I'm kind of assuming that you're going to be over here paying in the format of a 1099. Now, you want to be in compliance with the law and whatever, to make sure that you're picking the appropriate one, because you don't have complete flexibility. The general rule is that if someone is acting more as an employee, then generally they would be an employee. So for example, if you had a virtual assistant that's basically planning your entire day and you have it completely structured, you're telling them, on a 9 to 5 kind of basis, then normally that would be kind of an employee under that case. If you're telling someone, hey, this is a job, you have so much time to do it, you can use your own tools, do whatever you want to do with it, then typically over there, you'd be more of a 1099. Now, again, 1099, a lot easier. Most contractors online are 1099. Many virtual assistants online prefer to be a 1099. Again, it doesn't always come down to preference. There are some rules in terms of who is a 1099 or not, but we're considering mainly over here. Now, if you're looking at an employee, just to note that you can use some traditional kind of search engines, and that would typically be more over here for the employee. You might be able to use these tools for a contractor. You can look into it. But these are typical tools for normal, job searching. So the big ones are Career Builder, for example, and Monster. So these are going to be job searching sites. and you could take a look at them if you're looking to hire and see what they have in terms of a contractor, if that's what you're looking for, or an employee. So that's a good place to start there. Now, if you're looking for an online contractor, many people might go to sites such as these. Upwork, possibly Fiverr, and then some other kind of online sites. So let's just take a look at this. We talked about Upwork and Fiverr before as a way to possibly start your own revenue, right? You might be generating revenue from Upwork or Fiverr doing something like consulting or something like that. Or you might also use these tools in order to hire virtual assistants. So now, if you're thinking over here as a contractor, you have a similar process as if you were to work for something like an Upwork or Fiverr. Note that if you're working with a platform such as an Upwork or Fiverr, then you are the platform's going to be in the middle of your transaction all the time, which can be good. It has its benefits, but it also has its costs in that the platform's going to be taking a cut of that. Now, also note that Fiverr is usually something that you're going to have for one-off jobs, right? So one-off type of jobs that you're going to have on Fiverr. So usually, if you're hiring someone, as I'm thinking here, and you're considering training them and letting them, do more work and whatnot with you instead of a one-off job, then you might not use Fiverr. Now Fiverr works really good. I would think Fiverr works great if you're having someone help you with something that you don't know about. So if you did want to hire someone to help you with a computer problem that you don't know, or WordPress problem that you don't know, or possibly to train you on the email marketing or something like that, you might use Fiverr or Upwork on that. But I'm thinking here, if you're wanting someone more long-term that you're looking to train to help with some of these tasks that we've put together that are somewhat repetitive in nature, such as making a video file and transforming it into a text file and making it into Spanish and then into a PDF file. All those are once you get that down, can be somewhat repetitive. Then you might be looking at an Upwork or something for that type of task. Now, if you type in virtual assistant on Upwork or something like that, you're going to get a ton of different price range, because a virtual assistant can cover anybody that does basically, everything for the individual, or someone that takes on specific tasks. So obviously we're looking for someone here. If you're looking for someone to put these kind of tools together, you're looking typically for someone that you're going to train to do these types of tasks that you already have figured out the system for, that you're going to basically want to scale up on them. So so you can then look on Upwork and check out the prices for that type of thing. Now, if you do that, remember that Upwork works really well, but then you got Upwork in the middle of the transaction all the time. So you're going to be typically working through Upwork. That could be beneficial because Upwork does provide tools to help you to track the performance. And when you're they're in the middle, so they could have liability protection. You could have, some recourse if there's problems and whatnot, considering Upwork is in the middle of the transaction. So there are benefits. The cost, of course, is that Upwork's going to want to cut in some way when you're working with an individual. So that's going to be that's one place you'd want to go to it. Also note there's this item down here. Notice that if you don't want Upwork in the middle, like if you're working with someone long term, you might say, I'm fine having Upwork in the middle, or Fiverr in the middle of the transaction when I have one-off transaction and I really want their platform to help the vetting process and see the rating on these individuals. But if I'm hiring someone long term, I really like these tools that I can use the rating system and see how reputable this person is. If they have a history of working for the platform, that's really great. But I don't want the platform there the whole time. I would like to remove them. That would be nice if you had a long term. If that's your thought process, then you might want to use a different tool for longer term type of projects, and you can look at different hiring tools for that. Also note that if you're hiring in other countries, just because since you're hiring online and you're looking at tasks that you're helping to have someone be able to train someone that you already know the task to do in a repetitive nature, you might be able to hire someone in another country at that point as well. And there's many other workers in other countries. One is the Philippines. So the Philippines has a lot of good workers that can do that. Would be good virtual assistants that could take on these tasks as well. And there's actually a tool here that you could also look into, which is onlinejobs.ph. So online jobs in the Philippines, and basically In that place, another platform similar to these two, you can actually type in virtual assistant and just look at the price ranges to see what the price ranges are, because clearly the cost of living is going to be different in different parts of the world. So you can type in and get a feel for what the typical price range is, and then you could go through and you can actually pay. You'd have to pay. This site actually makes you pay or requires you to pay for the service to post a job. So you pay an upfront one-time fee, and then you would go through the hiring process, and then once you're done with that upfront fee, you can then stop paying the fee. So you have to pay a fee, then you hire someone, but then the platform removes themselves. They're no longer in the process. And so that if you're looking to hire someone long term, a tool such as that can be useful as well. And you might think, well, how would I pay someone if the platform is no longer in the process? If the platform is gone and I'm trying to pay someone in the Philippines, how would that work? Well, the platform actually provides a tool, even when you're not paying them anymore, if you were to hire through them, that will use PayPal to do the conversion for you. So it's really, you could just go on there and say, PayPal does the conversion. You pay them in US dollars. The US dollar conversion works through the PayPal system. And it's actually, you could try that out, and it's actually really an easy system as well. So that's another option that you can take a look at. Now, again, no matter what option you're looking at, you're typically looking for someone that you're gonna train for a particular task, like we say, such as the video to the text file and so on and so forth. So you want to know the task first before you hire someone. And then you can train someone to basically pick up those tasks, and as they train, they could pick up more tasks, and you can just build in that way. But again, I would start off with things that you know well, and then you can build and branch out from that point going forward. Now, each of these tools, of course, have a lot of information on them. So if you want to know more about Upwork or Fiverr or Online Jobs, you can look at reviews on them, and then of course just look at their website. Look at the tools on the website. Type in a job search and see what the results are. See the people that are on there. One of the major benefits of these tools is they have a rating system. So there's going to be a rating. That's one of the key components. You have a little bit more trust there than just basically posting a job somewhere and not having any kind of just getting random recipients of the job. That's kind of one of the major points of it. So go in there and post a job and see what is there. Now, the other thing you might be considering is, well, what kind of tools do I need? We talked a little bit about the payment of these. How would the payment work? Well, these platforms will help you with the payment process. What other tools do you need to work with someone? If you're working with someone virtually, they're not here with you. You have the files, and there's some online stuff. How exactly are you going to work with them? So we'll give an overview of that in another presentation, and then we might go into more detail with specific applications later.